Welcome, friend. Welcome to your weekly 8 minutes thriving heart, thriving life tips with Dr. Tan. For this week, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard the expressions die from broken heart? Usually we hear it in like romantic movies or romantic expressions. And yes, it is a very heartfelt romantic expressions. And at the same time, we grief specialists and some physicians and some therapists, and actually there are a lot of studies nowadays showing that die from broken heart, or the fancy name is Takotsubo Cardiomyopathy, is actually it is not only a romantic term, it is actually something that can truly happen when somebody is grieving deeply. You see, grief, many people don't realize that grief actually impacted our body, afflicts our body the way a very severe stress and shock would. And because of that, it causes all these chemical changes and electrolyte changes in the body. So much so, in a broken heart syndrome or Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, it even caused change in the shape of the physical heart. So in other words, many times you've seen the image of the heart being like this Valentine heart. And really, that is the normal image of heart. My background in medicine shows me that it's kind of like this image of the heart that you have here. That is really how the hearts look like in all of us. And in Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, or when the heart is physically impacted or afflicted or impaired because of grief, the heart actually change shapes and it bellow out or in on the bottom. So it's kind of look more like a money bag. If you ever seen the picture of a money bag where it's like that and it's like wider on the bottom, this is something that happened when there is a conditions that is caused by, and this is usually from very impactful stress. In particular, most commonly known is with grief. When somebody is experiencing grief, it is something that can cause this, and it shows up as either heart attack or heart failure. So in other words, the way it shows up physically for anyone who's experiencing this, it is something that shows up as heart attack and heart failure, which is quite disheartening can be. And the other part that with these conditions is, unfortunately, many physicians as well as many therapists has yet to recognize this condition. But this is something that's been shown by science. This is something shown by medical science, but so many things that everybody has to learn all the time as professionals. Not everybody get to everything right away, and so this is something that if your loved one, let's say, has experienced quite a pronounced grief, an event that causes pronounced grief, and experiencing these symptoms that has symptoms of heart failure or heart attack, and a lot of time they do call it, and it is a condition that leads to heart failure or heart attack, then not knowing the background, if the physicians doesn't know the background, let's say the person has a recent loss, a recent major loss or something, treating the physical condition is absolutely important, because the patients can die otherwise, and when in many cases has been shown to do so. But even as the physical conditions being treated, if this is somebody whom you know, you do want to have a grief specialist to address the grief as soon as possible as well. Why? Because if it doesn't, then you kind of only treating part of the whole syndrome, and understandably, we're not going to get the result that we would want, which is the person's back to being healthy. The great news is even if something this at this scale happen, even if the person's experience these heart symptoms or other type of physical symptoms, because this is not only the symptoms that can shows up. In my 25 years of helping clients successfully navigate through and beyond grief, I have seen anywhere from somebody with normal blood pressure suddenly has really high blood pressure, and the opposite. Somebody has typically high blood pressure suddenly has really low blood pressure, or the blood sugar, or some other situations, conditions, the kidney, the muscle pains, anything. The great news is, even if this happen, even if it is the heart reached to the point of showing symptoms of heart attack or heart failure, the great news is that it is something that's fully treatable. And in many cases, it is something that is even possible to reverse altogether if we act promptly. In other words, once we know something happened, you help your loved ones to immediately seek out help, and keep in mind that this is not only a physical thing. If you take care of the physical part, but the persons continue grieving, the damage continue to happen. And so in that scenario, in this particular scenario, the great news is when you combine the help physically as well as emotionally, mentally, where you are able to release the grief from the person's mind, and most importantly, the person's heart and the cells, the grief get deposited in our body and our cells, so to say. And so when you allow the persons to receive help, release it from their mind, from their heart, and from their body, their cells, those comprehensive release will allow the person in many cases to be much better, and in many cases even reverse it back completely to living a life of joy, a living a life of peace of mind and health, full spectrum health, where the body is healthy and comfortable, and so is the mind as well as the heart. A client of mine not too long ago has experienced difficulty, restrictions in breathing for some more than 60 years. And when she finally got to do this, her doctor says, I'm not sure what the heck happened, but you, after 60 years, no longer needing inhaler or asthma medication. So the great news is there is help. And as we know, when there is help, there is hope. And if you have any question, feel welcome to comment under these videos. Feel welcome to comment in the message. Please do click subscribe if you like this message so you can continue to be updated, as well as feel welcome to message me, email me directly, drtanforgrief@gmail.com. As it's in here, it will in the email here, drtanforgrief@gmail.com. And I care about you very much, and I see that as you embrace our cohesiveness, everything in our body being connected, you too live an even full spectrum, healthy, thriving life. I look